Welcome, everyone, to the Northeast SARE New Grantee Orientation for Research and Education, Research for Novel Approaches, and Professional Development Program grants. Congratulations on your award. We are so excited for the opportunity to get to know you and to support your incredible work in sustainable agriculture in the Northeast. The goal of the team at Northeast SARE is to help you and your project succeed. So this orientation is going to provide you with some important information that will also be repeated, much of it, not all of it, but in the cover letter when it's time for your organization to review and sign your contract. But we're going to talk today about introducing you to some of the Northeast SARE staff who will support you through your award process and also in managing your project. We're going to share with you how to get paid, very important, how to acknowledge Northeast SARE in your project work report, and also how to request project changes and how to approach your project reporting. We will also explain some pre-award proposal edits required before contracting can occur. So I'll start with some of the incredible members of the Northeast SARE team. And I'll just say, hi, my name is Heather Omand. I use he, we, and they pronouns. I'm the Associate Director of Northeast SARE, and I'm also the grant coordinator for the Research and Education Grant Program. So for those of you who are receiving research and education grants, I'm very excited to work with you more closely. As you move forward with the next steps of setting up your contract, you will soon get to know Jen Pelkey, our contract lead. And down the road, when it's time to submit invoices, you'll get to work with Lacey Ure, our financial manager. They're both wonderful people, and they look forward to working with you. In addition, if you are receiving Research for Novel Approaches grant, you will be able to work with Callie McPeters, the wonderful grant coordinator for that program. And if you're receiving a professional development grant, you will have the opportunity to work with Katie Campbell-Nelson and Nevin Dawson. And finally, as your project progresses and you are perhaps seeking some support in spreading the word about your project or in acknowledging SARE, Vander Gack, our wonderful communication specialist, can also be a great resource to you. So as you're moving towards contracting with Northeast SARE for your new award, it's helpful to know that we are funded via an annual agreement with the USDA NIFA, the National Institute for Food and Agriculture. And each of those agreements lasts about 5 years, which allows us to fund multi-year projects. The University of Vermont is the regional host organization for Northeast SARE, and therefore all contracts issued will be between your organization and the University of Vermont. All contracts will start on March 1st of this year. After March 1st, all project expenses included in your budget can be invoiced to Northeast SARE once your contract is in place. So it can take about a month from March 1st to have your contract fully signed by both organizations, fully in place. And so at that point, you can start invoicing, but the expenses that you invoice for, as long as they're included on your approved budget, can go back as far as March 1st. Your project start date may be different than March 1st, but all contracts are going to show that March 1st date. You will be working with the appropriate grant coordinators to confirm the end date of your contract during your pre-award meeting. It's important to remember that Northeast SARE grants are reimbursement based. You must spend the money first and then submit invoices to be reimbursed for funds. Please submit invoices at least quarterly, but no more often than monthly. It's the job of specialist Vander Gack at Northeast SARE to share the successes of Northeast SARE grantees with the public. The best way to ensure that we at Northeast SARE can amplify your project's learning and results is by acknowledging Northeast SARE. Not only is this a requirement, but it also enables both regional and national SARE staff to potentially share your work far and wide. So this includes acknowledging Northeast SARE on bulletins, fact sheets, academic journal articles, project posters, PowerPoint presentations, webinars, websites, videos, promotional materials, flyers, training announcements, etc. So if you go to this link on the slide, northeastsare.org/logo, this model language that we've included here on the slide is there for you to use. The Northeast SARE logo is available at that link also on our website in several formats for your convenience. It is just going to put a plug in right now. It is so helpful if you can upload pictures and videos and any other visual elements to your project reports to support our ability to share your work on social media, on our website, and beyond. If you need assistance with SARE acknowledgement, with the logo, or ideas to spread the word about your project opportunities, please reach out to Vandergack. They are going to be so excited to support you. So with changes in your project, we understand at Northeast SARE that things come up that may impact the project plan or budget. And those might be unexpected challenges or opportunities. So whenever these come up, please check in with your grant coordinator as soon as these potential changes come to your attention, and especially before spending money on expenses that are not included in your approved budget. While small differences in expenses from the approved budget are normal, it's good practice to check in with your grant coordinator, and it is required when the change exceeds 10% of the total budget, or if you're moving expenses across categories. So for example, let's say you didn't have any expenses in the travel category and you're moving some funds from personnel to travel, that needs approval before you make that change. Once you have the grant coordinator's approval regarding project plan or budget changes, we'll be able to help you with any paperwork if required, or you'll just be good to go. Sometimes project activities are delayed. It's possible to request a no-cost extension as long as the reason for the request is directly related to achieving project objectives. These requests should, ideally, be submitted at least 30 days before the planned project end date, and your grant coordinator will typically send you a reminder around that time anyways, just to check in and see if that's it. It's worth noting that our grant coordinators have a lot of experience supporting grantees through all sorts of situations and factors that can unexpectedly come up. If you have any questions about something you're experiencing or navigating, please feel free to reach out to us and see if we or someone we know has experienced this or can help in any way. We really want to be as supportive of you as possible. So with project reports, and we'll send you more information about this down the line too, but just so you kind of have this in your awareness now, you're going to use the same website, projects.sare.org, that you use to submit your application to submit project reports. Northeast SARE requires two kinds of reports: annual reports, due by January 15th of each year the project is active, and the final report, which is due within 60 days of your project end date. Reports are progressive in the online submission system, which means that each annual report from the prior year will be there when you log in, and you will only need to add details from the past calendar year's activities until it's time for the more comprehensive final report. Your grant coordinator will send you reminders and instructions each time a report is due. It is important to remember that even annual reports are visible by the public. As such, grant coordinators review annual and final reports and may require edits before they are approved. If you're unable to get to annual reports in a timely manner, invoices will be withheld until that report is approved. Additionally, Northeast SARE withholds the final invoice or the final 10% of funds, whichever comes first, until the final report is approved. Finally, believe it or not, reporting can be very fulfilling. We at Northeast SARE truly love to share the work that you are doing. And so again, including photos, videos, informational products, and stories from your project helps us promote your work throughout the Northeast region and beyond. So your very next step before contracting can begin is the pre-award editing process, which again your grant coordinators are just so excited to support you through. We will work with you to finalize budgets based on the uniform guidance of the federal office and also based on our knowledge of allowable costs and clear accounting. We will also work with you to confirm the best possible end date for your project. Sometimes Northeast SARE staff have some useful insights about dates that might allow final data to be analyzed and incorporated in the final project, or other such factors that we've seen come up for folks time and time again. You may need to go into projects.sare.org and update your contact and or profile information. This is an important step to make sure we have updated and accurate information for contacting you. Finally, sometimes for the professional development program and the research and education grants, edits might be needed in performance targets and milestones and possibly the verification plan before projects can be moved over to the reporting system. And that's actually going to help set you up for reporting down the line. So if that's something that applies to you, your grant coordinator will let you know. And as mentioned, sometimes edits to the budget are required before we can begin the contracting process. This may be true if calculations do not match justifications, maybe numbers on the subawards don't match the amounts on the prime award, if additional justification for a line item is needed, or if unallowable expenses were included in your proposal budget. Please note that while your grant coordinator will make every effort to catch all of these potential issues up front, it does sometimes happen that our financial manager will catch something we missed after we submit what we believe is your final budget that you've edited and we've gone over. This happens, but it will be avoided if at all possible. Another thing to note about budgets is that if your project has any subawards, you as the project leader are responsible for monitoring and managing the work, the invoices, and reimbursements of those partners. It is valuable to remember that you will need information from them before the annual and final reports are due in order to include it. And also that all subaward agreements must end at least 60 days before your project's end date if you're going to be able to include those expenses in your final invoice. So I'm going to do a little brief recap of the things I've already said. One, again, your contract start date will be March 1st, even if your project start date is later. Project-related expenses can be incurred starting on March 1st and invoiced for as soon as you have a contract in place. The end date depends on your project, and Northeast SARE staff may advise you to push this back during pre-award meetings. It's also important to note that the end date is limited by the 5-year timeline of Northeast SARE's funding agreements with the USDA. So for example, no 2023 project can have an end date later than November 30th of 2026. No 2024 project can have an end date later than November 30th of 2027, etc. Even no-cost extensions cannot extend past that date if needed down the line, so keep that in mind. Finally, don't forget, again, that you as the project leader are responsible for managing partner reporting, invoicing, and reimbursement. And for that reason, all subaward agreements must end at least 60 days before your project's end date. You will have plenty of time in your pre-award one-to-one meetings to ask any questions or clarifications of your grant coordinator. We are here to help. Now we'll move to how to navigate the online system through the pre-award editing process. So once your grant coordinator provides you with the required and suggested edits to your budget and proposal, you can log into the online system to make the changes. If the changes requested are clear to you, please go ahead and proceed with this process at that time. It's just going to move your contracting along faster and get you rolling sooner into the work that you would like to be doing. However, if you have questions or concerns, you can wait until your pre-award meeting to discuss the edits with your coordinator. And they can also go over this process of walking through the online system with you in that meeting. So again, this is the same system you use to submit your proposal. It's the same login, same username, same password. I'm going to quickly walk you through the process of editing your proposal in the online system, which should feel very familiar to you because it's basically the same process as creating and submitting your proposal. After you log in, you're going to do two things. First, view and edit your profile and ensure everything is up to date because that's the information we're going to use to communicate with you. Second, you're going to click on that Manage My Grant Proposals link to access your proposal. So next, you're going to find your proposal title under the Pending Approval heading and click on it to open it. You probably won't have as many as I do here, but you should be able to easily find it based on your title. Okay, close to the middle or bottom of the page, there's going to be a green Unsubmit Proposal button on the left side. Please don't be frightened by this button. You should definitely click it. You will get a message confirming that you want to unsubmit, and you're going to click Unsubmit Proposal again. Then it's going to bring you to a page with a choice to view your proposal, which would bring you to like a static PDF sort of version. Or you can click on go to Proposal Overview. Click Proposal Overview, which is going to bring you back to the page that you see on this slide. The highlighted sections on this slide are the ones you're most likely to edit, though your grant coordinator will give you specific instructions based on your specific proposal. That's it. That's your orientation as a new grantee. Your pre-award meetings will have lots more opportunity for questions and clarifications, conversations about managing a Northeast SARE grant. And then here again are the incredible grant coordinators who are just so honored to have stewarded your project through the review process, to know your project based on the proposal that you shared, and who are so ready to share their wisdom and experience with you in support of everything that you are trying to do. So again, congratulations. We are honored to work with you and grateful to launch this relationship.